Hello, friends. Welcome to another episode of the Photo Department. Last Tuesday, my girlfriend and I went to Chicago. I decided it would be a good time to try out some new film that I just ordered, the Silberra Color series of film. This is the Color 100 35mm. While in Chicago, I shot a roll of the Silberra 100 in 120. Everything was shot on my Rolleiflex K4A. But before we get into that, I am drinking coffee. This was sent to me by my best friend in the whole wide world and co-host of the Spooky Park Bench podcast, Mike Sim. He works for this wonderful roaster in Oxford, England called Newground. And this is the Negusi Gamida. I'm probably not saying that correctly. It is an Ethiopian coffee from the Sidamo region. It is of the heirloom variety. And it's a natural processed coffee. This coffee is decidedly blueberry, and I really like it. I'm drinking it out of my old Blood Noise Endeavors mug that I just got. This is a company, previous colleagues of mine who, they make guitar pedals. And I say previous colleagues because they kind of popped up around the time that I had my own company where I designed and manufactured guitar pedals in a former life. You may or may not see and or hear our dog Klaus pitter-pattering around in the background. You are welcome. But we're here for the film, so let's get into it. I'm going to go through all the images that I shot and kind of just talk about them. This first image, we were at the Chicago History Museum, and this is one of the signs that kind of greets you as you walk in. I thought it was really pretty and colorful, and I wanted to get a couple images of it. I actually took this on the way out as we were leaving. We went to go see the Vivian Maier in color exhibit, which was really actually pretty awesome. I hadn't seen much of Vivian Maier's color work, so it was really nice to see that in a really well thought out exhibition. And if you are in the Chicago area, I recommend you go check it out. But as you can see at the bottom of this frame, there's some overlap with the next frame. And I don't think that's a problem with the Rolleiflex, as I've never seen this issue. I think it might be an issue with the Silberra film. I'm not exactly sure how. I think it possibly slipped a little bit. It was a bit of a nightmare taking off the sticker to unroll the film to load it into the camera. It was way too sticky, and I basically ripped the leader a whole bunch. Part of it human error, part of it bad design, I think. That is the beginning but not the end of the headaches with shooting this roll of film. But I think that the colors in this are very accurate, and I think it looks really cool and true to life. And I really enjoy this image and the next image, which is the same sign, but it switches to red. So it'll be, the gas will be green in the first image, and then when it switches to the red. So I wanted to do two of the same image because I thought it looked really cool. Same image, just different color. But again, it looks very true to life and exactly what it looked like when I was there. Now, some of you will recognize this as the Wilco Towers or the Corn Cob, but this is the Marina City apartment towers. These are an icon in the Chicago skyline. Everyone knows about them. A lot of people call them the Wilco Towers because Wilco's, I think, 2000 or 2001 album features a Sam Jones photograph of the Marina City Towers on the front. And that album is extremely popular, as is Wilco. So the claim to fame for these particular buildings is kind of that album cover. So being a huge Wilco fan, I really wanted to photograph this. I didn't think I was going to get a good photo like Sam Jones, and I don't think I was going to do the same composition, but I wanted to kind of get somewhere kind of close. I didn't get close. I don't really know where he got his composition. Where I was standing, I couldn't tell where he might have stood to get the composition that he did, but I got a photo that I thought was nice. I really like that you can see the sunlight hitting the side of the first tower on the left and then the top of the second tower on the right. I really love that. I think that the film rendered everything really nicely. I don't see any issues with the color. Yeah, I think it looks really nice. I wouldn't say that it looks like any particular film stock. It just looks good. This is more of the same. It's a little bit warmer. I don't know why, but it is. So there's that. And then this is a different composition. I walked a little bit further away and got the left tower more in the foreground. I like this image a lot, but I think I prefer the first image compositionally. I took 3 shots of these towers because I was here. I like these, so there you go. We then decided to go to Chinatown to get some Korean barbecue, and it was super colorful. It's a really pretty little plaza that we were in, so I took a few shots because I wanted to see how the film handled bright colors, and I think it did a really great job. I think this is pretty accurate to what was kind of happening there. This Yinwall City sign here looks exactly kind of how it looked when I was there. The red of the guardrails look the same. I think it handled the bright sky back there pretty well. This image is an image I took of the reverse to kind of get a look of what it would look like the other direction. And yeah, it looks good. The skin tones of these people, I think it did a good job. The light is really pretty here. Again, the colors look bright and pretty and saturated without being overly saturated. It's definitely less saturated than Ektar, but maybe a little bit more than Portra. I think I scanned this strip of film backwards because this was definitely right after I took those last 2 photos of the Wilco Towers. This is just looking off the overpass towards, I guess, north. And I like this image. It was backlit because the sun was kind of back there as a big highlight on this building to the right. And I kind of wanted to see how the film handled really bright lights, really bright highlights. This image is looking towards Dearborn Street. So I guess that's north. This was a slow shutter speed, I think 30th or 15th of a second, because it is 100 speed film. And I wanted to get enough depth of field where enough stuff was in focus. So I didn't want to be wide open. So it's a little teensy bit blurry, but if you're zoomed out to the regular size, you can't really tell. Not the best image, but I think this was just me trying to take more color in to see how that looked. And, it looks fine. I think it takes highlights really nicely. You'll notice on the left side, this is kind of way noticeable on this frame, some light leak on the corner or on the side here on the left, and I'll address that in a little bit. But, the darks have detail, the shadows have detail. It's not like crushed. So yeah, I think this image gives a good idea of the dynamic range of this film. This image, I just thought that I would see how it would do with neon lights. Again, a slow shutter speed, so it's a little bit blurry, like a tiny bit blurry. But again, the colors look really great. I think it looks good with the neon signs. I think if I were to do this image again, I would stop down one stop. Maybe the shutter speed so I can get a less blurry picture, because I think it still would look really good, even a little bit underexposed here. But yeah, I think this is a cool picture. This is a guy standing on a ladder repairing something in the ceiling. We were walking out to leave, and I just thought this would be an interesting picture. I was kind of inspired having just seen the Vivian Maier exhibition, so seeing this little scene, I kind of thought that this would be something that she would have found and thought to be interesting and would take a snap of. So I did the same. And I really like how the square light behind his legs is kind of like almost like a halo around his feet. I don't know if you see the same thing that I do. Yeah, I don't mind the reflections. I think it's a cool image. I actually really like this image. I was trying to finish off the roll. I had 1 shot left when I got home, so I figured I would just take a quick mirror selfie. I'm not going to post this and tag Rolleiflex World or Rolleiflex Mirror Selfie or whatever the tags are, because actually, I don't know. Maybe I will. Overall, I dig this film. I think that the color rendition is nice. I think it handles dark shadows and bright highlights really well. Maybe not as much dynamic range as something like Portra, but definitely up there in dynamic range. The colors are nice. I think that the colors that I've seen from other people's work and from these shots that I've taken, it's got a really nice saturation, and I think that the reds look particularly nice. as well as the greens. It doesn't have that Fuji kind of like overly saturated or kind of like intense green. It's got a natural green kind of response, and I like it. I think it's nice. I think it's a really good kind of general purpose color film. A couple people have told me that this film is most likely Kodak Aerocolor, which is a color negative aerial photography thing developed for aerial photography work, obviously, used by governments and stuff. A ton of it is in Russia, and that makes sense for this being a Russian film brand. So there certainly is some compelling evidence to suggest it might be Aerocolor. I was not able to figure out if that was true in my initial research. I didn't dig super deep, but in the research that I did do, I didn't find any solid evidence to suggest that it was in fact Aerocolor. And then some of the work that I did see, like on the Flickr group for Aerocolor, I don't think that the colors super match up. Who knows? It could be. I'm not really sure. It could also be expired Aerocolor, which would explain why the color is a little bit different, but I don't really know. It is interesting because when you develop it, it doesn't have an orange mask on the substrate. It's actually kind of like a gray clear substrate. It's a little bit different when scanning and converting. I used my Epson V700 and Negative Lab Pro to scan and convert it, and it didn't have any issues, but I've heard people have issues with some scanning software as far as like figuring out the colors because there is no orange mask. So something to think about. So I told you that getting the sticker off to load the film wasn't the end of my headaches with this film. That was true. When I finished the film and took it out to roll it up, there's no sticker on the end of the backing paper because I guess they're reusing backing paper from other films. The backing paper on this film was black. I don't know where it came from, but it didn't have a sticker. So what they do is they add a sticker into the box that's separate that you put on. I didn't bring it with me because I didn't think about it. So I didn't have the sticker to seal it. So I had to leave it in my camera until I got home, which isn't an issue within itself, unless I'm shooting a bunch of film and it's just like a roll of film among others that I'm shooting. I could see that being an issue. But if you're aware of it beforehand, it doesn't have to be an issue. But the thing that did bother me was when I did take the film out of the camera, I got a fat roll, which for those of you who don't know, it's when the roll of film, the backing paper isn't wound tightly enough around the spool when the roll is finished, and then the backing paper and film actually come out around the sides of the spool, allowing light to hit the edges of the film, which is what happened here, which is why I was saying in this image, you can particularly see light leaks on the side of the image, and that's because of that fat roll problem. I've only had that happen once before with Lomo color. I think it was Lomo 400, and it was particularly frustrating because I've actually never really had that issue unless I made an error and like dropped the film or didn't handle it properly. Also, the Rolleiflex, when you wind it up at the end, it winds it sufficiently tight enough so it doesn't have that issue, but I don't know what's different about the manufacturing of the Silberra film that maybe makes that more of a problem, but it was in almost all of my frames. I cropped everything and made sure everything was lined up properly and square. So some of the light leaks that you saw on the edge of the frame, you can't see them because they were cropped out, but all of the frames had light leaks, which is unfortunate. That together with the overlapping first couple frames, I'm willing to say that was a fluke. This is my first roll of the film. Knowing what I know now, I definitely would shoot it again, but I would make sure I had the sticker with me, and I'd be particularly careful unsticking the leader so I didn't rip it like I did with this roll. So I still have some rolls of Silberra. This one is the color 100 for 35. I definitely am excited to try this out as well. In general, I think it's good that there's more color film coming out available on the market. Still, it's not like there's new companies making new C41 film, but it is nice that there are more options out there, even if it is just rebranded film we've seen before. I'm really hoping for sometime in the future there being another film company that will make new C41 films, but I have no idea if that will ever happen. So I am here to appreciate what we have. And if Silberra wants to come out with a film that is a little bit quirky and is a little bit difficult to use, you know what? At least we have it. Thank you to Silberra for the film. Thank you to Mike at Newground for the coffee. Thank you to Brady from Old Blood Noise Endeavors for the coffee mug. Klaus did not make an appearance. I'm very sorry for that. Maybe, hey Klaus. Yeah, he's asleep on the couch, so that's not happening. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate you coming to watch this video. I appreciate you giving it a like. If you enjoyed it, that helps me a lot. Make sure you check out the Peerspace YouTube channel, as I'm continually making content for that channel as well. I just released another video on that channel a couple days ago about black and white film and its history. You should definitely go check that out. Yeah, I hope everyone is having a good holiday season, and I will be back soon for more stuff. Thank you. See you later.